the euro. This is pretty similar to that Aussie dollar scenario. Like, would people consider this as a support? But also the sell signal that comes in, if you want to enter early for a complete retracement of this kind of up move, that is the thought I had in mind. I didn't really consider this as a low. I entered here.
Right. Yeah, that's
because like the stop is quite a good place. You know,
Yeah.
this is a range, and then people would have got long here on a break of that range, and immediately they're kind of like trapped. So I imagine that their stop would be underneath this low, probably. It
Yeah,
hasn't really worked out that way.
Yeah, they have been defending that level, as
Yeah.
you can see. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
but they're under pressure now, and you have a new signal anyway.
Yeah, another new one.
Yeah.
No, so things are looking okay for this trade, even though there was some period of discomfort.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything more to say on this one?
No, not really. No. The
This was a. Let me just talk you through the trade that I took last week. It might be better if I do something like this. Yeah, this is quite a nice uptrend, and then we started to sell off and made this kind of range here. Okay, so would this is where the signal came in. So it's like perfect for breakout traders, because this is where my stop was and this is my entry.
Yeah.
And these kind of supports levels actually acted as resistance on the way down, and this is actually a really cool trade for me. But my rule with the trailing stop is that I follow this moving average down. I actually gave it a little bit of breathing space. This is my entry. I made first target down here, and then with the trailing stop I gave it a little bit of breathing space and put it above these levels, but I actually just got nicked. For saying that, once everybody was, all the bulls were getting in long here, do you think this is like a good place to enter short then? After this rejection?
After that bar there, yes. Yes, because well, as you can see, there's a breakout, there's a retest of the breakouts, there's another breakout, another retest of the previous breakouts, and then going down.
Yeah.
So and that's definitely a reversal bar.
Yeah, exactly.
So yes, that would have been a good place to top up your position or get into it.
Well, I was caught with a stop loss here, and I ended up re-entering on a break of this, which I think my target was just down here, so just missed the target. But I stayed in the trade, and
Yeah.
when we tested these lows again, I just took some out here. And then it was the weekend, and I think we were stopped after on Monday open, somewhere around there.
No, that's fine. But you know that trade you just described, it was a classic what we used to call, if you remember, the advanced
Yeah.
trade. And I think there's a number of reasons to do that. Now it's a pity that I can't touch this screen from here, this chart from here,
Yeah.
but it, there is the big trend line that starts from the very top,
Yeah. Mm,
yeah, going down, yeah,
yeah.
and then from the third point that touched, there's another trend line.
Somewhere.
No, the other one.
Oh,
No,
sorry.
no.
This one.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So that is what I call an acceleration of the trend,
Yeah.
and that bar we were talking about where you entered tested exactly was the third test of the trend line.
Yeah.
So you had two very good reasons to take that advanced trade.
I see what you mean now. Yeah, that's cool. So this is one, this is two, and this would be the third time. So you enter here. Yeah. It would have been very nice. Cool. Thanks, Gigi. Also do the other pairs. Okay, this is the loss on the Canadian dollar, which I was a little bit gutted by. Let me just mark up some levels here that could be important. This one. Yeah, so basically this is where we got the buy signal, which is, I think, this bar here. These were people that were trapped, whoever went short on a break of this one.
Yeah.
So I was excited to enter on a break of this high and also this level here, to try and test the highs. Now I ended up increasing the buffer because my entry just missed out by a few ticks, and I ended up entering up here, and I moved my stop to here because it was below this moving average. I think it actually should have been probably below these kind of like lows here.
I think that this all the things you said so far are completely justifiable. I think this one probably was a mistake.
Yeah, the stops were in the wrong place. I think this is where it should have been.
And it was, a sort of half-half kind of thing. You had to stick to your plan, and all the analysis was great, and then you move the stop to a place that doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah. Isn't it funny how like the market catches you out like that?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's the only kind of trade. I'm trying to think of the reason why I left the stop there. Maybe it kind of made sense in my head somehow, but it's looking at this chart again, it's obvious that it's in the wrong place. I mean, okay, you're increasing the risk a little bit more, but the highs are all the way up here. There's plenty of room.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
And it's important you just highlight this in your journal. This and try to explain why you did it. So if you can understand why you did it, probably this is something you might want to monitor.
Well, this will go in as an error code number 2, which is bad stop placement or dodgy stop placement. So this one is quite obvious.
And it's quite important to understand why. Were you too scared? You were not particularly convinced, so you just wanted to reduce whatever it is. um, I think you actually bent the main rules there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll make a note of that. Thanks. Right. This is. Well, see, this is a better place to put the stop. This is my entry. I wanted to wait for this kind of resistance area to be broken. There's also some other areas of price action that have kind of respected that level a bit. So I wanted, instead of entering here, I wanted to wait for this to clear.
Yeah.
And this is the only place I could have put my stop, which is what I should have done on the US CAD. Is just put it in underneath this low. It's the only place it can go, right?
Yeah, that's the most secure place to do it.
Now, you could scratch the last signal because we got a new signal here. You could enter here and put the stop loss here.
Yeah.
Is that something you would do, or would you just... I mean, you're probably looking at the same target at the end of the day. Maybe it's a little bit lower. Do you see what I mean? If you're risking 1 to 1.
Are you already in?
I'm already in, yeah.
So you
I'm
don't
in
want to...
here.
Well, I don't think you want to scratch it, because you basically are on a trade that it's started working.
Mm-hmm.
If you scratch, what you do is, first of all, you pay commissions.
Yeah.
And then you pay the spread.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, you have a higher risk reward. But you can move the stop up. There might be some justification for doing that.
Yeah.
Because you have a trend line there that has been broken, right?
Upward trend line.
An upward trend line, yeah, has been broken.
Something like that.
Yeah, and now the market is retesting the high. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you move the stop below the low there, it would be the classical pattern.
Mm-hmm.
And you can even, well, you don't have the signal in this case, but you can even reverse it if you were trading another system, because that would be a pretty nice pattern.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a decision that I don't think you would be right or wrong either way, because if you scratched it, you would end up entering here. So if the market was to come back down, you won't lose anything, and you could even have a better entry short to maybe test these lows. If you stay in, it's most likely that if the market was to start selling off again, because of this change here, you're probably going to get the sell signal more quickly than usual, so you can reverse the position and you won't lose much on the first trade. So there's plenty of things you could do in this scenario, or you could just leave it, which I think I'm going to do, and just follow the rules of the system.
Yeah.
Because if you start trying to second guess what things are going to happen, then you're breaking all the rules.
And if the rules you tested are do exactly this, you just do exactly this.
Yeah.
If you have more discretion, there is some justification to put a stop just below the last low there.
Yeah.
To move the stop there, and so you would basically lose a little bit less than half.
Great. That's fine. There's 2 more to do. This is a sell signal on the dollar yen. This is where my entry is, waiting for a break of this low, and my stop I've moved. It was by here, but I moved it above these two highs now for a better risk reward to test these levels. Does that make sense to you?
Oh yeah, it looks quite directionless at the moment. So you can even look at that as a kind of range.
Yeah,
That would be a break of the range.
something like that. Yeah, it's markets are pretty slow today, or they have been a bit subdued this week. But we've been spoilt recently, so. This is the trade I took last week. Rising wedge, perfect entry, and it wasn't too hard to take to make money out of this trade.
Yeah.
Simple entry, stop, and this is T1. So hopefully we can get the second leg of it.
Yeah, could well be.
Okay, next is the last one, which is cable. What I'm thinking of here is a complete reversal of this sell-off. This is we managed to get above this this important technical level, 119, and I'm hoping that we can go back to these highs here with this buy signal. So my entries are in place above these two. My stop's below this one.
Yeah. Well, as you can see, there is no direction here. There's a range. So the signal is fluctuating between red and blue. That's a trend kind of indicator. So when they do this, you can see that there is no trend.
Yeah, well, that's quite an important point actually, because I shouldn't have any orders on because there's no signal.
Well, if you remember some years ago or months ago, we were discussing about when you can ignore the
Signals,
signal, let's say,
or jump the signal.
and there are some instances, and the reason this system is called MABO is that MA, which will give you some sort of direction, trend, and BO, which is a breakout. Now, if you really see a clear opportunity for a breakout, you may be justified to ignore the MA signal, because the MA signal, of course, is going to be less important because you're on a range.
Yeah.
If you're in a range, it's flat.
Yeah.
So, but again, if you built this into your rules, that's fine. If you didn't, well, don't change.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I
this
think
specific case, you shouldn't have any order in, because the last histogram is still forming, so you don't know at the end if it's going to be blue or red.
Yeah.
If it's going to be both red, the only thing you can do, according to the rules, is a breakout on the short.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make logically a very big sense, because 2 ticks up or 2 ticks down may change the color.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, it's just a number that goes into a calculation at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, in my experience, I prefer to wait for the signal confirmation, just because if you end up jumping the signal, and this happens, and then you end up getting a good short signal, then I'm usually more angry at myself for jumping the signal, taking a loss, than rather wait for the signal to get a later entry long.
I see. Okay, well, that's fine.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm just gonna wait and see what happens here. But that's all of them. Thanks, Gigi.
Excellent.
Cool.